Era+Sweet Pet+Military Marriage+Space+Family background+Tragedy+Cute Treasure+Double Cleanliness+Strong male and strong female, a master's degree in 21st century medicine accidentally slipped onto a girl with the same name and surname who was extremely strong and stubborn in 1974. The original owner was strong, physically strong, and had a proud personality, which was particularly disliked by the villagers. The most outrageous thing is to travel through time and get married, and to be heartbroken and lose the memory of the original owner. Fortunately, our family has a medical expert grandfather who has regained memory and obtained the spiritual spring of space and rare koi physique. The chubby little girl has become fair-skinned and beautiful with long legs. In the 1970s, when others couldn't eat enough, anything was easy to get. Let's see how Qin Nuannuan can turn things around against the wind, be a scumbag, take college entrance exams, do business, and take her grandparents to Kyoto to buy a large courtyard house. What? The strongest military officer's husband chased after Kyoto and brought his original mother who had sacrificed herself. It turns out that he was not born to a scumbag father, and his biological father is suspected to be a big shot in the military. Chapter 1. Awakening from Pain in Dreams, Crossing Through Time. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Qin Nuannuan woke up in pain from her dream, accompanied by waves of headaches, as someone was quietly arguing. But she could only hear the sound, couldn't open her eyes, and could only listen carefully to what the person outside the door was saying. Ah, what's going on? It happened on our first day of marriage. Although she wasn't the daughter-in-law our family was interested in, she was injured on our first day and it didn't sound good to hear it spread, was the voice of a middle-aged woman. Mom, don't worry anymore. The situation has already happened, and we'll take responsibility for any consequences, said the calm and firm man's voice. You shouldn't have agreed to marry her in the beginning. Her grandfather saved your life, and we can repay it in other ways. Marrying someone who doesn't like you will be painful for a lifetime. The voice was mournful and regretful, still the middle-aged woman. Mom, don't worry about it. We'll divorce when her grandfather grows old without any regrets, and then we'll have nothing to do with each other. The voice was low and magnetic, a young man's voice. Then we can't just let her stay at our house like this. She and Jiajia are both hot-tempered, and on their first day of marriage, they fought like this, making the villagers laugh at them all. When you return to the army, these two people will have a lot of trouble. Isn't this just making others laugh all day, said the middle-aged woman. Grandpa Nuannuan said that after I return to the army, I will let her stay at her mother's house and never let her fight with Jiajia all day long. That's a good relationship. Fortunately, her grandfather is a reasonable and good doctor, and he knows that her family is accustomed to causing trouble. I don't want to serve this ancestor and fight for Jiajia all day. I don't have to do anything anymore, I don't earn any work points, and my family drinks the breeze. Qin Nuannuan was puzzled when she heard the word work division, but she couldn't open her eyes and could only continue listening. Her grandfather said that she can work well, has great strength, and has a job as a scorekeeper. She earns full marks every day, and she also has a salary. There is no need for our family to worry about this, said the young man. I know it's true to earn a lot, but she also eats a lot. How about you see how she eats her fat? It's strange to say that Mr. Li really cares about this granddaughter. Other children in the family are all starving and skinny, but this child in his family has eaten a lot of good food. I really don't know if our family can afford to raise her then. Mom, she's not fat, it's just that the girls in the village can't eat enough, they work a lot, and they're all relatively thin. In the city, she's not considered fat, so you can't say that about her anymore. Qin Nuannuan now understood that someone should be watching a TV drama, and it was also a period drama. But it's not right either. I just started working these days and haven't found a place to live yet. I've been living in the duty room of the hospital, and no one usually lives with me. How could anyone be watching dramas here? At this moment, there was a clang sound, as if someone was forcefully pushing the door open and touching something. A young girl's voice said, "Brother, please let her go quickly. Anyway, she doesn't want to marry you. Our family doesn't want to marry her either. Let her go back where she came from. Oh my little ancestor, please keep your voice down. Do you want to wake her up and fight again?" "It's not embarrassing enough," said the middle-aged woman. "Mother, what kind of person should we lose? If we want to lose face, it's also Qin Nuannuan's disgrace. On my brother's wedding day, she shamelessly ran to see Sun Yujun. Everyone in our village knows that Qin Nuannuan likes Sun Yujun, but Sun Yujun is hanging on her. She doesn't care about my brother's face so much. Why do we want her in our family? My brother is good-looking and still serves in the army. How many girls in the village secretly like my brother, and it's not that she doesn't want him in our family." The woman exclaimed angrily. "Jiajia, from now on, Shaonuan will be your sister.in.law. You can't talk like that anymore, do you hear me?" said the slightly serious man. Qin Nuannuan seemed to be very close to herself when she heard these voices speaking, and even mentioned her own name. Now she was really scared awake. Opening my eyes, I saw a dim yellow room with a slightly dilapidated kerosene lamp, reflecting a bumpy mud wall. Above was the adobe roof with wooden beams, and below it were a few terrifying figures slowly descending on swings. Qin Nuannuan didn't have time to look elsewhere, let alone think, and screamed loudly, "Ah!" He got out of bed in a panic and accidentally sat down on the ground, exacerbating the original pain. As a result, someone pushed the door open and asked, "What's wrong with you?" Their voice was low and magnetic. Qin Nuannuan looked up and saw a tall man reflected in her pupils. The man in front of him lowered his head, his eyebrows and eyes sharp and cold. He was wearing a white military uniform that had been starched, with sturdy arms exposed, giving him a strong sense of security at first glance. Qin Nuannuan stared blankly at the person in front of her. Years of habit gave her a self-proclaimed sweet smile. "It's okay, I accidentally fell off the bed." The man looked at Qin Nuannuan with a smile, hesitated for a moment, then said calmly, "It's okay. Since you're awake, get up. It's time for dinner." Qin Nuannuan smiled and said, "Hey, okay, but I have a question. Who are you? Did you save me?" At this moment, the young girl burst in like a small cannonball and said, "Qin Nuannuan, what are you up to? You just don't want to marry my brother. To be frank, why are you still pretending not to know anyone? Aren't you humiliating my brother?" Looking up at the girl, her face looked very unattractive, and she didn't hide the impatience and contempt in her eyes at all. At this moment, Qin Nuannuan realized that the oily and plump Qin Nuannuan they had just discussed was himself. Although it was a bit unbelievable and hard to believe, Qin Nuannuan didn't dare to speak much anymore and decided to take a look at the situation first. Qin Nuannuan looked around, and on the bumpy walls, only half of the bed was covered with old newspapers. The old orange-red table was placed against the earthen wall, and the paint on it was almost peeling off. It seemed that the style was quite old. There are some simple daily necessities placed above the table, including a military green military water bottle and 2 enamel jars that are eye-catching, with the words, "Labor is the most glorious," printed on them. A small window opened above the table, through which one could see that the outside was already pitch black, so no more information could be obtained. Chapter 2. Knocking Stupid, Amnesia. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Looking down at himself, he saw the bright red rough cloth jacket, the black rough cloth trousers, and 2 thick fried dough twists braids hanging on his chest. He really felt like another Qin Nuannuan. This is not too scary either. I have read many historical texts and should still be able to support myself. However, after others are reborn and travel through time, don't they have memories of the original owner? Why is it that I am completely blank and don't know anything? I don't know how many years it has been, and I don't know if I have any relatives. I don't know why Qin Nuannuan has already married. As I thought about it, I touched my head and grinned in pain. Could it be that the original owner broke his head and caused amnesia? I am really pitiful myself. Everyone is not stupid, will they realize that I am not really Qin Nuannuan? The two of them at the door looked at Qin Nuannuan in front of them, dumbfounded, and looked at each other, wondering if they really didn't remember. The young girl shouted loudly, "Mother, Qin Nuannuan is silly. She was knocked silly by me. What should I do? Will I go to jail?" Her voice was really panicked. As the young girl shouted, another middle-aged woman entered the door and said, "What's wrong, what's wrong, how could you be so foolish if you're okay? Qin Nuannuan, are you okay? I'm Lu Zhanghua, your newlywed husband. This is Lu Jiajia, my sister." Lu Zhanghua said and pulled Lu Jiajia over. "This is my mother, your mother.in.law. We just got married and had some unpleasant moments today. Do you still remember?" Lu Zhanghua asked. At this moment, Qin Nuannuan was still immersed in her thoughts, completely unable to hear the voice of the warring states, let alone express herself. "I'm just thinking about what to do if everyone finds out that I'm not the real Qin Nuannuan." Upon seeing Qin Nuannuan's lack of reaction, Lu Zhanghua said, "Jiajia, go to the end of the village and call Li Lao over to show him what's wrong with Qin Nuannuan. Good guy, I really didn't know she would be like this. If I had known I wouldn't have fought with her, it wouldn't have been much if I could have endured it. I'll go find Mr. Li right now, hoping she won't be okay," said Lu Jiajia. Li Lao is a barefoot doctor from several nearby villages, and people have real skills. People in nearby villages have a headache and fever, and they usually seek treatment from Li Lao for falls and injuries. So his reputation in the village is excellent, and the village chiefs nearby have a good relationship with him. I heard recently that his son is now a regimental commander in the army and has even married a daughter from the leader's family. On the way for Lu Jiajia to find Li Lao, Qin Nuannuan was still immersed in her own thoughts. "I am an orphan who grew up in a welfare institution. With the support of my grandfather from the Qin family, I was admitted to a medical university. Recently, I just graduated with a PhD and successfully joined the Qin family hospital. I have not achieved any results yet, let alone experienced the happy life of relying on my own manual labor to support myself. Apart from working as a part-time coach at a taekwondo gym, I also improved my medical skills and rarely visited shopping malls, which led to a food shortage in the 1970s. Yesterday, I went for a walk by myself to the beach, picking up seashells, and saved an old lady who was also picking seashells. The old lady invited me to her house as a guest and gave me a pearl pendant that she found and handcrafted. I have done a lot of good things from childhood to adulthood. Although it's not a big deal, I haven't done a single bad thing. Why did God bring me here and make the owner of this body lose his memory?" Lu Zhanghua looked at Qin Nuannuan's constantly changing expression and asked, "Qin Nuannuan, you really don't remember anything? Have you felt any discomfort? You should get up from the ground first, the ground is cold, and sit on the bed." "Oh, thank you. I can sit on the bed, but could you please get those bugs off? I was startled by them just now and fell off the bed," Qin Nuannuan said. Bug, the land warrior, circled around the house and his expression twitched when he saw those spiders. "I picked up the spider with a broom and took it to the yard." Coincidentally, Li Lao ran over with sweat all over his head and saw Lu Zhanghua asking, "Lu Zhanghua, how is my daughter doing? Where is she? I'll go take a look." "Li Lao, Nuannuan is sitting in the room. You go over and take a look. Maybe you can remember something when you see Nuannuan," said Lu Zhanghua. Good, 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 good," Li Lao said as he ran into the house in a hurry. "Girl, how are you?" Upon hearing this title, Qin Nuannuan raised her head to look at the old man, who was full of energy in energy. He was actually their grandfather, Li Lao. "Grandpa, why are you here?" Qin Nuannuan asked in confusion. It was the little girl from the Liu family who informed me that you had been beaten silly by her, crying with a runny nose and tears. Your grandmother and I are quite anxious, so let's come and take a look. How about that big bag on your head, does it hurt? Bring it over and let Grandpa show you. Li said anxiously. Qin Nuannuan knew that the original owner's grandfather was a barefoot doctor, and without hesitation, she reached out her hand to him and said, Grandpa, I'm fine, I just can't remember some things for now. Li Laozai carefully felt Qin Nuannuan's pulse and said, It's not a big deal with your body. The bottom line is that you have some blood stasis after being beaten in the head. After your grandfather prescribed some blood-activating and stasis-removing medicine for you, it should be better. Now pack up your things, go home with your grandfather, and have your grandmother make some delicious supplements for you. Qin Nuannuan thought of listening to the conversation between the two just now. The original owner grew up with his grandfather, so he thought he couldn't go back with him, otherwise it would be easy to expose his true identity. He pretended to be puzzled and asked, Grandpa, isn't today our wedding day? Then, I'll go home. Will the Liu family have any objections, and will the villagers laugh? After all, it's in the 1970s, and everyone's thinking is relatively conservative. Anything will be spread more harshly, let alone this is a major marriage event. Oh my daughter is sensible. Even though she has been injured like this, she still thinks about the Liu family. You don't need to worry about this. Let me tell the Liu family. On the first day of our marriage, we will beat our good baby like this. How can we do well in the future? Quickly help your grandfather pack up your things and let's go home, said Li Laohuduzi. Li Lao, don't be so anxious. There was a reason for everything today, and Jiajia didn't mean it. You see, Nuannuan was injured and it's not suitable to move now. Let Nuannuan rest here, and I will take good care of her. Lu Zhonghua said anxiously. Lu Zhonghua, please shut up for me. How did you agree to me? I spent a lot of precious medicinal herbs to save you at that time, and that's all I asked for. I asked you to take good care of my warmth, but how did you do it? On the first day of our marriage, we got a big bump on my head. Li Lao said angrily. Li Lao, you can't say that. You saved our lives in the Warring States period, but we also gave up our happiness in the Warring States period, married your family Nuannuan, and made up our minds to live a good life with Nuannuan. Chapter 3. Recalling Childhood. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Li Lao, I'm sorry, I really didn't mean to. At that time, Qin Nuannuan and Sun Yujun were arguing, and Sun Yujun wanted to take Qin Nuannuan to Shanghai. I was afraid that they would make my brother laugh at by the villagers. In a fit of anger, I wanted to stop Qin Nuannuan. It was Qin Nuannuan who started the fight, and we started it. Lu Jiajia said with guilt. What are you saying? Sun Yujun wants to take Nuannuan back to Shanghai, but he didn't expect Nuannuan to get married. They still don't want to let her go. Nuannuan can't be here anymore. I have to take Nuannuan home, and I have some things to explain to Nuannuan. She's grown up, and I can't take care of her for the rest of her life, said Li in a sorrowful tone. Li Lao, what do you think we can wait until tomorrow when we warm up and return home? The child has been injured and it's not suitable to move around on the head. Let the child rest here and we will take care of her, okay? Wang Xiuxiang pleaded. Li Lao looked at the wound on Qin Nuannuan's head and said reluctantly, all right, Nuannuan, you should rest well here and not go anywhere. I'll tell you about the public affairs tomorrow. Lu family kid, come with me and get the medicine Nuannuan needs to take from me. Speaking, Li Lao walked out of the room first, and Lu Zhonghua followed behind with his head down. The two of them remained silent all the way until they were about to reach the Li family's doorstep. Li Laoping said calmly, I know during the Warring States period that it was not good for me to let you marry someone I didn't like, Nuannuan. You knew Nuannuan was a very sensible child when he was young. It was only a few years ago when his father took him to Shanghai to suffer from a serious illness that he became this kind of person. Later, the child was sent back sickly, and her grandmother and I pitied the child. It was indeed a bit spoiled, but this child still understood some truth. It was a bit stubborn. Lu Zhanghua said, "I know my grandfather. No matter what happens to Xiao Nuan, I will treat her well." As they walked to their doorstep, they saw Grandma Qin Nuannuan anxiously waiting and said, "Old man, how's Nuannuan doing? Is everything okay? It's not a big deal, but you need to be mentally prepared. The child has been hit on the head and has a temporary amnesia. However, it's not a bad thing. If you forget, you won't make a fuss to find her father. Lu, you can sit outside and talk to your grandmother, and I'll go in and take medicine for Nuannuan," Li said as he walked into the room. Come on, Lu family, sit down. Grandma knows you're a good child, and it's really our old couple's fault to ask you to marry my daughter with a life-saving gift. A few days ago, Nuannuan's father wrote a letter asking Nuannuan to return to Shanghai, saying that when the child grows up, he should find his mother-in-law's house and not let the child find a mud leg from the countryside. Her grandfather is quite happy, thinking that this father finally thinks of his own child. Grandpa asked his friends in Shanghai to inquire, but he didn't expect Nuannuan's father to marry the foolish son of his boss to change his good son's position. This is really pushing the child into the fire pit. Thinking of the child we were holding in our palms being so mistreated by her biological father, it's really like having a stepmother means having a stepfather. Her grandfather and I really feel heartbroken, said Mrs. Li with great pain. We didn't tell Nuannuan that we were afraid of her child's sadness about this matter. Her grandfather directly wrote to reject her father, saying that Nuannuan was in love at home, and the love partner was not a country bumpkin. The two of them had a good relationship and couldn't separate the children. There was no need to worry about the children's lives. With our help, the two children would definitely live a good life. But her father didn't give up, and let son Yu-jun, who grew up with Nuannuan, come and persuade her, which led to what happened today. I'm really sorry for smearing the reputation of the Lu family. The old lady continued. Grandma, don't say that. Marrying Nuannuan is something I am willing to do. My family is also at fault for today's situation. I hope Nuannuan won't hold grudges against us when the time comes, said Lu Zhanghua with guilt. The two of them had a conversation, and the old lady also said some warm things. After a while, Mr. Li came out with medicine. Warring States period, this is the medicine that Nuannuan needs to take today. Go back and cook it for her to take. Tomorrow's medicine will be taken when she comes back. Okay, Grandpa, you don't have to worry. If there's anything wrong with Nuannuan, I'll inform you in a timely manner. There's nothing wrong now, so I'll go back and give Nuannuan some medicine. We'll come over early tomorrow. Lu Zhanghua said goodbye and walked out of the house. This child is good, honest and kind from a young age. Nuannuan was very happy to make friends in the village and brought a lot of candy to eat during the Warring States period. The two children were destined from a young age, and we hope Nuannuan can live a good life without being influenced by her parents, said Mrs. Li with relief. Lu Zhanghua walked alone on a pitch-black path, listening to the barking of dogs in the village. Thinking of what happened today, Qin Nuannuan wanted to leave with others on his wedding day. Is he resentful? To be honest, I not only blame myself, but also feel uncontrollable anger rushing to my forehead, which is why I told my mother that I would divorce her. Thinking of the first warm scene I saw when I was a child, I lay sadly under a small tree in the back of the house that day because of my father's passing, secretly shedding tears. Why are you crying? Is there anything sad about it? I have sugar here, do you want to eat it or not? Mom said that after eating candy, you won't be sad anymore. A crisp little girl's voice came from above her head. Don't cry yet, step aside a bit, I'll go down from the tree and give you candy to eat. I looked up and saw a beautiful little girl lying on the tree tightly holding onto a branch, with a slightly scared expression trying to squeeze a smile at me. Can you do me a favor first? I'll get you some candy later. I can't get down, can you help me get down first? The little girl blushed. How can I help you? Let's talk about it first. I don't want to eat your candy, I'm just helping others, the little boy said awkwardly. Okay, can you hurry up? I've been lying here for a while, and finally I saw someone coming over, the little girl said anxiously. Okay, I'll stand under the tree, and you'll step on my shoulder and slowly come down, she said, standing steadily against the trunk. The little girl slowly moved her feet and stepped on the boy's shoulder. The boy slowly crouched down and helped the little girl get down from the tree. Thank you, the little girl said, grabbing a handful of candy from her pocket. Here you are. Thank you for your help, I hope you don't say anything about today. It's a bit embarrassing. She stuffed the candy into the boy's pocket and ran away, shouting, I have to go. It's been so long and I can't get down from the tree. Grandma is really anxious. If you come here tomorrow, I still want to thank you. Chapter 4. Memories of Meeting Again. You are listening at novel full.audio. De co lois Era+Sweet text. Chapter 5. The Sleeping Wood Room of the Warring States period. You are listening at novel full.audio. De co lois Era+Sweet text. Chapter 6. Storm of Returning to the Door. You are listening at novel full.audio. De co lois Era+Sweet text. Chapter 7. Confession to Parents. You are listening at novel full.audio. De co lois Era+Sweet text. Chapter 8. The Appearance of Golden Fingers. You are listening at novel full.audio. De co lois Era+Sweet text. Chapter 9. Lu Jiajia's Provocation. You are listening at novel full.audio. De co lois Era+Sweet text. Chapter 10. Space Changes. You are listening at novel full.audio. De co lois Era+Sweet text.